Guten Morgen. My name is Rachel. Welcome to Humor in Heels. I have another awkward, funny story with you, for you, with you, with you. We are in this together. This story is funny and awkward, which an unfortunate number of my stories tend to be. So let's see. A couple of months ago, I threw out my back while doing yoga because apparently I'm like 95. And God forbid I be in the back of yoga. No, I'm like the nerd that's in the front of the class all the time. So like halfway through class, I'm like turtled on the floor, like just in pain and just rolling back and forth and unable to move. It was great. It was a good ego booster. Felt fantastic. So I was in a lot of pain. Went to a chiropractor a couple of times and just wasn't really seeing any improvement. So I stopped going to them. Actually, as I say that out loud, I stopped going to them because now that I've moved back to my hometown, I used to make fun of my mom all the time because she would be like, ugh, I have to go all the way across town. And I'd be like, yeah, those 10 minutes, like, rough drive. But I was used to living in the cities where, like, you hop on the highway, 10 minutes later, you go somewhere, like, I'd have to drive 20 minutes to meet up with any of my friends. So it's just like not a big deal. But now that I live here, those 10 minutes are 10 flipping stop signs. It's obnoxious. So on top of like not really getting a whole lot of my chiropractor, honestly, the main reason is because it is all the way across town. I am 95 and I am my mother, who's not 95. Whatever. I stopped going to this chiropractor, went to a different guy. Who is like literally across the road from my mom's house, which is perfect. His name is Dr. Mike, which, what does that make me think of? Mike, hump day? God, I hope you're old enough to know what that reference is. Thank you very much. Anyway, I went to this guy, his name's Dr. Mike, chiropractor. He used a different method than before. He has like, I'm used to getting the like snap, peace out treatment, which I thought was normal. And he had a gun and it was more like, pew pew. And I left there the first time thinking, what did I pay for? But then the next day I felt like $1,000,000. I'm like, yeah, you're a genius. Do all of this. Shut up and take my monies. Take my monies. So he's been amazing. And this is gonna sound really bougie, but it's difficult to find a good masseuse. Yeah, that definitely sounded bougie. But I think it's true. It's hard to find a good masseuse. And I thought, well, if I have a good chiropractor, usually good professionals know good professionals. So I asked Dr. Mike, who should I go to? And he was like, go to this woman. Her name is Melissa at Daylily. I was like, great. So I called Daylily Spa and I was like, can I get an appointment with Melissa? And they were like, sure. And I was like, great. And then I showed up and I was like, I'm here for a massage with Melissa. And they were like, great, we'll take you into the back. And so this mysterious Melissa and I are about to meet and I'm sitting there and this woman comes around the corner and she goes, Rachel Brewster? And I was like, Melissa? This is the problem with living in your hometown. Turns out Melissa and I graduated high school together. We weren't, I don't know if you would call us friends. We weren't like tight, but we were definitely friendly. And she was like, well, I just assumed that you requested me like by name. And I was like, I had your first name. I had no idea she even was a masseuse, to be totally honest. I've lost track for a decade. I don't know. And she was like, well, I just assumed that you requested me. And I was like, no. And I never got a last name, right? And even if they'd given me the last name, Melissa Warner honestly wouldn't have rung any bells after all this time. And plus, she ended up marrying my brother's friend, and she has a different last name now. So it would have been Melissa Schultz. And that still wouldn't have rung any bells for me, to be totally honest. And she's like, oh, like this is like, I just figured that you had planned this. And I was like, okay. I'm about to get naked and oily. And you're going to take your hands and put them on my naked, oily back. No, this was not planned. No, 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 absolutely not. I don't know why, but like, so much more comfortable getting a massage from a total stranger rather than somebody that I have known. This was not the plan. No. Nope, sure wasn't. Oh my God. And so, like, what would you do, right? So, I went forward with massage. It was a good massage. I was like, well, yeah, I'll go back and try her again. And she either took notes or she just remembered all of my trigger points because the second time I went to her, I think I left my body and went into a different dimension and eventually came back. I don't know if I've come back. Am I still here? Am I here? Is my body here? Is my soul within my skin? It was crazy. She's amazing at her job. Amazing. And I mentioned this to my other friends that I grew up with, and they were like, oh yeah, I've heard that she's really good at her job. And I was like, no, she's not really good. She's great. Like, I never want to go into anybody else ever. She'll do that thing where like I have really dense, like I'm a strong woman, so I have these like strong muscles. And I don't know, when I get a massage, I don't want someone to like pet me like a kitten, right? Like, I'm not paying whatever I'm paying for you to paw at me. No, I'm not here for that. I want you to get in there and I want you to like German white knuckle me. Like, I want to feel the pain, you know? And she had this really great approach where she would find the tension and the trigger spot and she would press. So she would almost do, what should we call this person? This character. Olga. She'd almost do the Olga thing, like, but she would press and then she would just hold. And my muscles would like fight her. And you ever do this with kids where you're like, I can do this longer than you. I'm just waiting. Just waiting. I do that with my nephews sometimes. I'm like, I can do this longer than you. I've been around the block. All right. And so she just presses and holds and the muscle will like fight her, but eventually she's just patient and just waits, and then the muscle just like melts. So it's like pain, which I like a little bit. I guess I'm a masochist when it comes to massages, but then like relief. Pain, relief. Yay. So yeah, I don't necessarily recommend getting naked and oily with an old friend, but I guess in my case, it worked out. So God bless Melissa. Great masseuse. Highly recommend.